Wowie woo-wow, welcome back, my name's Jack, here for you to give you more stories from the internet. Let's not waste time, I know what you're here for. Me! No, here's the stories. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments down below, ideas I might have missed, and any feedback on the video today you might have. But without further ado, let's go.
Am I the a-hole for exposing a guy to clear my name? So, pre-lockdown I got a promotion and went out with my friends to celebrate. I'm not really a spontaneous person, but that night I went a little wild, got a little too drunk, was dancing, and ended up making out with some guy at the bar before I left. It wasn't a big deal. I woke up the next morning, my friends joked to me about it, and we all moved on. Cut to last week, my older sister says we're finally going to meet her boyfriend. I knew she had been dating someone, just not who he was or how long. I hadn't seen the dude or anything. My sister is uber cautious about bringing her boyfriends over because they've all been kinda pieces of work. But she's really excited about this guy. He's sweet, attentive, in the military, on a good path, etc. Yeah, so dude walks in and I instantly recognize him as bar makeout guy. At the time, I didn't know how long they had been dating, so I dumbly assumed that this was probably before he met my sister. Neither of us acknowledged the elephant in the room, and things are a little bit tense, but whatever. Then the stuff hits the fan. Our dad asks us how long they've been together. My sister says a year and a half. So yes, he was dating my sister, seemingly exclusively, when we made out at a bar. I immediately throw this dude under the bus and call him out. My sister loses it, my dad is less than pleased, more that I was drunk and made out with a stranger, which is fair to be honest, not my finest moment. The night basically ends with them splitting up in front of everyone and him storming out and leaving my sister crying. My sister isn't mad at me, luckily. She knows I didn't know, obviously, that the dude was her boyfriend, but due to the incident, this was a very small dinner with only 5 of us. Now, word gets around, and what got around is OP drunkenly made out with her sister's boyfriend, and no real explanation past that. So, people kind of automatically assumed the worst, and I was constantly having to explain the situation over and over to family members, friends, etc. So, after a few days of this, I got sick of it, and made a public post on my social media explaining the situation, exposing the dude, didn't name him though, and cleared it just with my sister first, and basically clearing the air that I did not, in fact, knowingly try to steal my sister's boyfriend. It worked. Everything got cleared up at once, and I wasn't treated like a pariah anymore. He saw the post though as I made it public, and he messaged me real ticked off and said I shouldn't have aired it all out in case people put 2 and 2 together, and now his social circle found out and are coming down on him. Most of my family doesn't have an issue with the post. A few relatives have said it was a little much and that I should have kept it private, but they weren't saying that when they were gossiping about how I tried to steal my sister's boyfriend. So am I the a-hole here? Now, edit to add to clear up a few things. I didn't go, well, you made out with me in January, at the dinner table. Once I found out how long they had been together, I sat on it for 2 to 3 minutes, and then, when my sister went to the kitchen to get another drink, I followed her and told her in the kitchen. My sister is emotional and started crying and yelling, understandably, and things got carried back into the dining room when they started arguing. I also 100% cleared the post with my sister. She proofread it and had final approval as well as veto power to have me remove the post at any time. She was getting contacted by people too to gossip about how awful it is that your sister tried to get with your boyfriend, and she was struggling to deal with the processing of the breakup and simultaneously having to defend me on the daily and explain everything over and over again, so yeah, she gave me the green light to handle things. So, wow, yeah, okay. See, that is a roller coaster. Nata, he shouldn't have cheated on your sister. He reaped everything that he sowed, and your relationship with your sister sounds awesome. Why would you be expected to cover for a man that cheated on your own sister? I mean, if he doesn't like how people are responding to this, then he shouldn't have cheated to begin with. Besides, he had no problem with everyone thinking poorly of you, so, he's clearly not on your side, and you shouldn't be expected to be on his side. Yes, thank you. I love this point. I don't think there's really any other side of the argument to make here. She's totally not the a-hole for what she did. Though, was there a less confrontational way to deal with the situation? That's what I can't see. Next story. Am I the a-hole telling my dad it was weird he was dating my half-sister? Okay, yeah, this one's just as bad, if not worse. My mom had my sister, who's now a 50-year-old female, when she was very young. She never played a role in her life, and her dad moved her to another country, and she lived there all her life. My mum then met my dad, and they got married and had me, a 36-year-old male now. They got divorced soon after. Recently, my dad, who's a 64-year-old male, ran into my half-sister, and he did not know at first who she was. They started dating, and it was only later they found out the connection. For some context, my mum had introduced me to my sister, and we had a pretty good connection, but she never introduced my dad to her, so he didn't know her at all while growing up. My dad decided to continue to date her since they were not related. I said that was weird, and he got upset. So am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole, because bruh, they're both so old and they didn't even know her. She was born even before your dad came into your mum's life, and they do what they want. No a-holes here. It's not weird, but I can see how you might feel weird about it. But no one is doing anything wrong, and everyone's feelings are valid. You're definitely not the a-hole. I'm not sure why people are calling you the a-hole for that. It is objectively weird, and you're allowed to say that. Yes, they're consenting adults, but they're engaging in behavior that is going to seriously mess up an already complex family situation. If they get married, your half-sister is going to be your stepmother. How shocking! No, seriously, how is that shocking? I'm sorry, I'm just not finding any valid arguments as to why this is a disgusting thing that shouldn't be happening. Not the a-hole, that's weird, unsettling, cringy, and gross. You are wholeheartedly entitled to your feelings. I can't imagine how your half-sister is okay with dating her mum's ex-husband either. Yeah, no, I still don't see it. It's a 50-year-old dating a 64-year-old. It's not a 30-year-old dating a 16-year-old. Though I do have to wonder how much he's attracted to her versus how much she looks like his ex. Because I have to say, that is one convenient rebound. But seriously, can someone clarify how this is disgusting exactly? There's nothing ancestral about this. At most, the father doesn't look like he's really gotten over his ex. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband to stop saying to our 2.5-year-old that she is making him sad? So the husband is away working. He's been gone well over a month and won't be home for another month. This length of time isn't normal, but he does travel quite a bit regularly. He was home for about 8 months during COVID, when travel was restricted. We video call chat 2 times a day, and the last week or so, our 2.5-year-old hasn't had interest in talking to him. She will say, "No, I don't want to talk to Dada," then start being fussy. Let's call her B. Every time, my husband will say, "Oh, B, talk to Dada, you're making me sad." Today he said it, and I said, "Stop telling her she is making you sad. You are an adult who understands the situation. You telling her that she is making you sad is not fair. She doesn't understand why you have been away so long, and will be happy to see you when you get home." He got real quiet, and I tried to re-explain, but he just said his goodbyes and hung up. B is very much a daddy's girl, and when he is home, she is all about Dada and not so much mama. I just don't think it's fair for him to project those feelings onto her. Yeah? You sure it's just not because of the attention he gets over you? Obviously it sucks, and it must be hard for him to be away from his family for so long, but it's a part of our life, and him telling B that she is making him sad doesn't seem right to me. So am I the a-hole for telling my husband to stop telling my 2.5-year-old she's making him sad? No a-holes here, but ask him to change it to, "I'm sad because I want to give you a hug and I'm not home," or "I'm sad because you don't want to talk." Still teaches her that others have feelings, and that our actions can affect them, but doesn't lay blame at her feet. Yeah, not the a-hole. Your husband is selfish. Yes, he's sad that he doesn't get to talk to her, but it's his choice to have a traveling job. There's no way that the daughter can understand why he's not there. She likely feels abandoned by her most loved person. Really, it's his choice to have his current employment during a pandemic. Yeah, nah, you're right. He could easily get another job somewhere else. I don't think he should tell her he's sad at all. He's an adult. Suck it up and tell her he loves her, that he misses her, he can't wait to see her. Your husband is the a-hole. Yeah, if you have any empathy for the husband in this story, you're kind of the minority in this post. OP, you are an awesome mom. Men feel so entitled to women's attention. I'm sad, come show me some empathy. Gender norms start at a very young age. It's not fair for him to expect her to just want to please him just because he is sad. It's not good to teach young babies that will be women one day this. But along comes Abelgek to be the white knight to men on the internet. Why is this guy deprived because he's working for his family and has to be away and misses everyone? Seriously, what the frick is wrong with you? This has nothing to do with gender norms. It's a normal dad missing his child and wife. Agree to disagree? No, if you think your partner isn't entitled to communicating that they miss their family while away on work and travel and that it makes them sad to be away, you are a sociopath. Telling a child they are responsible for other people's feelings is a terrible message, and one that is too often drilled into girls about men. Do you want your daughter to think her life revolves around pleasing men, and that if they are displeased because she doesn't want to give them her attention for whatever reason, it's her fault and she must perform for them? On the other end of the husband hate, though, you're the a-hole. You don't say he's berating her. You don't say he's demanding she be forced to talk to him. He's just telling her that her refusal to talk to him is making him feel badly. To those who say she should be able to establish boundaries, he's not forcing her otherwise. He's just letting her know how those boundaries make him sad. It's good information. It's good we learn our actions can affect the happiness of others. Now that's true, as long as we're also being reminded that we are not burdened with the responsibility to make people happy. To those who say a child has no responsibility for how someone else feels, that's how you raise Redditors. Oof. Oof. Yeah, quite a few opinions here, but what's your take on it? Now look, I totally agree that there is a bit of a stigma some women face out there where they feel forced to have to please men in a sense. But in this particular circumstance, hell no is this actually happening. I honestly think people are reading far more into this purely because it's a man saying that he finds it sad when his daughter, a girl, doesn't want to talk to him. They're immediately reading this as some sort of topic on consent, which while a very valid thing to teach the child about is definitely not happening here. But as a guy, I know I could be completely ignorant in this circumstance. That and I do not have kids. I do work with kids where the establishment of boundaries and consent is obviously always at play, but I'm sure there's aspects of this that I'm completely not noticing compared to what a woman would notice. So, your opinions, bring them on. 1v1 me, brah. Anyway, next story. Am I the a-hole for not letting my friend and his pregnant girl use my car this winter? So I'm a 27-year-old female. My friend John's 28 years old, got Lisa pregnant and she's also 27. She's 8 months in. Neither have a car. There's a second guy involved because he was sleeping with Lisa some of the days John was, so they got no clue who the dad is. But this guy is doing the bare minimum of paying like 1/3 of her doctor's bills. Before I worked from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m., John borrowed my car in the afternoons to take Lisa to the doctors and such. Now, Christmas is coming. This is my money-making period. From November till New Year's, I become a social recluse who works 15-hour days. I had warned John in July and in October that my car would no longer be available from November onwards. He said he'd find a solution. And if that was the case, there wouldn't be this story, so let's read on. They've been unable to find another car, and so Lisa called me to compromise. Oh boy, here we go. So I could lend them my car and I carpool to work, or I keep my normal hours, or co-sign a car with John, or forward them money to buy one. Okay class, quick little pop quiz. Please point out here where the compromise is happening exactly. The exact definition of compromise here. An agreement or settlement of a dispute that is reached by each side making concessions. Now, I will gladly offer money to whoever can point out to me where exactly Lisa is making a concession here. I'm not okay with any of those options, so I said no. Lisa talked about her pregnancy troubles. It's a newborn during winter. Public transportation is full of COVID. No one else is willing to help. It's not just about me anymore. Don't I feel any empathy or compassion for her baby? That's the short, polite version. I know she's full of hormones and stressed, but I didn't appreciate the guilt trip. I'm not the baby daddy, and I've helped her more than her own parents and other guy have. I told her that, and she accused me of shaming her. So I went with it, and was like, well, you figured out how to sleep with 2 guys in one day, multiple times, without a car. You can figure out how to manage the consequences without a car. It's your baby. Ooh, dear. Oh no, that is not a good thing to say. She threw the old classic, there's a special place in hell for women who don't support other women. I was like, oh good, you won't be there. It's a highway to hell after all. John called and said I was an a-hole. The hell part was kind of funny, but I'm an a-hole for everything else, because Lisa really tried hard to work with me and I'm being stubborn. I agreed that some things I said were hurtful, but in the context, I feel justified. She has 2 potential baby daddies, roommates, her parents are in the city, and I'm the one receiving her wrath. She's due in a month, and I was clear from the start I would only help till November. So, not only was Lisa's guilt trip about the baby moot, what the frick have they been doing the last 8 months? This should have been sorted out by now. John said I'm a cold-hearted a-hole for taking the car away, and he called our mutuals and they got involved. But no one's offering up their cars either. Funny that. Again, I know I'm an a-hole for what I said. That's not even a doubt in my mind. I was terrible. But I really don't think I'm an a-hole for not letting them keep using my car anymore, especially as no one else is stepping up. Or am I an a-hole because no one else is letting them use theirs? Now edit, John's a high school friend. This is the first time he's ever done me dirty. Lisa is a 2-week fling he never had. Both John and the other guy are getting paternity tests done, and they're not sticking around if they're not the father. There is also at least 2 other potential fathers from around the same time. So yeah, no one's actually committed to Lisa and the baby. They're kind of just there in case it's theirs, but high-key hoping it's not. So the survey says, Nata, though you are the a-hole for shaming her, the fact that she was sleeping with 2 men is irrelevant. Her friend and his pregnant friend with benefits or girlfriend want to use your car for the winter. You are not obligated to help them get around. Curious though why John isn't stepping up to solve this problem and pushing it off on his friends. He is a terrible human for doing that. Now, I wouldn't call this shaming. More like, how did you manage to go from point A to B to C and back to A before you had my car? I think the fact she was sleeping with 2 men is relevant. She's not dating either. They were hookups. Either one could be the dad. They need to step up and take care of Lisa and the baby until they get a test done. I can sort of agree to this. Mainly on the idea that really any anger and wrath or frustration should be towards John and the other guy. Yeah, not the a-hole. I wouldn't have loaned them the car at all. You gave them a timeline and they couldn't figure out their stuff. Not your problem, and her trying to work with you put you out and only benefited them. They should be on choosing beggars. I would have had far more pity for Lisa if she didn't make such terrible compromising options towards you. Like, maybe you should actually buy a car from them, because with that haggling skill, she is going to be terrible buying her own car and getting a good deal. You were hospitable enough to them. You gave them enough of a free ride. This is all completely on Lisa and John and the other guy for not getting their stuff together in time. Remember, boys and girls, if your pull-out game's weak or you don't practice proper protection, you're risking yourself a $300,000 fine to pay off over the next 18 years. So, you know, don't be stupid.
Whoppity-doo, that is it for you. Thank you so much for watching. No, really, it's nice to have you here at the end with me. It gets a bit lonely back here. If you did enjoy today's ramblings, please sure to like this video and subscribe. Yes, I said please and be at the same time. Please. That's a word now. Any thoughts of yours, leave down below as well. I do like to read the comments. I haven't read the last few videos, but I'm getting onto it. Trust me, I do read them every time I'm taking a poop. That's right. Every comment you leave is more stuff for me to read as I poop. Yeah, you visualize that. And while you fantasize about that, I will fantasize about you subscribing. So why not make us both happy and reciprocate to the kink? Why do I always go there with my jokes? My name's been Jack. You've been listening to J-Mac, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye.